Story. Now let's take a look at what's trending and what Kenyans have been talking about online, and there's so much that has been going on, including that story on the change in police uniforms. So let's just take a look at some of these stories, and I'm being joined by Veronica Ann Wamboi. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Veronica.
Welcome. How are you, Trix?
I'm fine, thank you. So let's talk about the cabinet plans to replace NHIF. This has caused some jitters online because Kenyans are wondering, all these bodies, will they have different offices catering for them? Does this mean a bigger burden on taxpayers? What have you seen across board from Twitter, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms?
Okay, first of all, we have seen that the cabinet has proposed a bill that includes three other health funds, which, if the bill is passed, will replace the NHIF fund. And these bills are primary healthcare fund, social health insurance and emergency fund, and the chronic and critical illnesses fund. Netizens are like, wow, that is a good move, because these three funds will require a different type of management, three different type of management, and it will also mean more jobs for Kenyans. But others are like, this could also mean an extra burden for Kenyan taxpayers. So we don't know what it's going to happen out of it. There are also, some of them are like, we want to know how it's going to happen. Are we going to pay for the three of them? How will they work? They need more information before the bill is passed, I think.
Right, and also more jobs for Kenyan. But the question is, which Kenyans? That might be a concern on there as well. Yeah. Let's also talk about the cabinet removing the ID requirement for underage students applying for loans. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing, according to netizens?
Actually, netizens are really happy about that move, because it means more students are going to apply for the higher education loans. Since the COVID-19 came, the COVID-19 really disrupted the education timetable, and most of the students find themselves joining campus even before they turn 18. And with the previous requirement of the higher education loans application, where you were supposed to have a national ID, most of them are missing such chances. Right. So netizens are actually really happy about the move, saying that it is going to accommodate more students, and we really hope it's going to work that way.
Right, and that story that we had earlier on about the uniforms, the older ones, the lighter blue one versus what they currently have, of course, there was a lot of outrage when the new ones materialized, and Kenyans didn't feel that we had done right by the boys in blue, so to speak. What do you think about that, and what are Kenyans saying? Will this bring a level of dignity to the look of the police?
They are hoping that the change of uniform is meaning that they are going to improve their services. And
Wait, how?
I don't know. They're just hoping that they will not. The new look will mean new or better services, because the new uniform is going to include an embroidered name tag, which the police officers cannot remove. There have been reports that some of the rogue officers used to remove the name tag so that they can engage in activities that they're not supposed to engage in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that embroidered name tag means that it's going to set their characters straight, and the netizens are hoping it's going to do that. They're actually saying that the new type of uniform reminds them of the Konambaya police officers from Inspector Mwala. I don't know if you know that show. Yeah. But others are saying it's a better, it's an improvement from the previous one, because they were really fading, and you will meet police officers with a really faded type of uniform there. Yeah, so they're saying it's a better type.
The lighter color can actually, camouflage wear and tear. But at the same time, I do really strongly feel that it lends a level of dignity. It looks sharper than what they have right now. But of course, there's public participation. If you're very interested in this particular issue that is going on, you can go and give your views, because there is an exercise that is ongoing to get views from the public. But far from that, let's talk about what's happening in Shakahola. Apparently, a freshly buried body has been discovered in that area, and it was not buried in a coffin. It was wrapped up in some kind of material. Tell us more about that and what reactions you're getting on social media.
Actually, this new body has elicited a lot of reactions, because Kenyans are like, first of all, it was showing signs of torture. The hands were tied behind the back, and they're like, wait, so this thing is still happening?
Or is someone taking advantage of the situation? It's a crime scene, a lot of bodies, and they were hoping it could camouflage?
Yeah, I don't know. And then some of them are actually thinking it's the body of bodyguard, Pastor Ezekiel's bodyguard.
Oh, wow.
We are not yet sure because the autopsy is yet to be done.
Yeah. Pretty unfortunate happenings right there in Shakahola. But let's move further afield. There are expected storms in Florida, but there have been a lot of what you would call acts of God happening across the world with wildfires and now tornadoes, and now we're expecting a storm. Tell us about that, and are people, what are people saying, or what kind of energy are people sending towards the people of Florida?
Actually, netizens from Florida are requesting the rest of the world to just pray for them because they were asked to evacuate their areas, and they just recovered from another hurricane that they experienced the last time. They were now building their new homes, and all of a sudden they're being told to vacate from the area because there is danger. And the new hurricane, Idalia, I think it's an Idalia. It's expected to be rougher because it's going to coincide with a supermoon. A supermoon is a full moon that is closer to the earth. And if you did your geography,
I did not.
You did not. Although the full moon the full moon affects low tides and high tides in the ocean. So that means it's going to be rougher for the Florida area.
All right. And the previous one was called Hurricane Hillary, I think. I think so. I think that was the name. Hopefully, we all our positive energy and prayers to the people of Florida. But let's move on. This one, I saw the video and it was super bizarre. A woman had a tapeworm, I think, or some sort of worm in her head, and it was removed, and she has lived to tell the story. Tell me about that.
The worm is it was a live 8-inch worm, and actually the normal host of such a worm is a carpet python.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did this thing get into this woman, and how did she even survive?
The doctors believe that she got the infection from a type of grass where the pythons reside from, and they were actually thinking maybe the pythons reside from the area from that grass, and the lady ate the grass and she got infected.
Why is she eating grass? So moral of the story: don't eat grass, please.
Just be careful with what you eat. But actually it's the first kind of thing to be seen in history. It's first of itself.
I mean, she's really lucky because the length of that thing that you've just seen on your screen is pretty scary. And I mean, I wonder what the symptoms were before she found out that
the doctors are saying that it could have affected some of her body parts, including the lungs. So we're just hoping that she's going to be okay.
Okay, she'll definitely be okay. She's lived through the worst. And that is all we had for you here on What's Trending. Thank you so much, Veronica Ann, for joining me to look through some of the subjects that are being discussed on the socials. And of course, we're going to have you on next week, just bringing us up to speed with what's happening on social media. But if we're trying to find you, how can we get you on social media?
On all my platforms, I am at Veronica on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and